Alright, before we get to today's big topic, let's do a quick shout out to some supporters. You folks help keep this channel running, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, now let's talk about ladders. Specifically, let's talk about why they're important. To find out, I spoke with Chad, a man who literally wrote the book on ladders. He is the author of Ladders, Their History and Development. In his work, he explores how these basic structures have shaped our history and culture. I asked him why exactly we should care about ladders. Without them, we would still be living in caves. We wouldn't have built the pyramids. They are a fundamental part of life. They are also ingenious pieces of design. They are also ingrained in many parts of our culture. When we say someone is climbing the corporate ladder, we aren't actually talking about a literal ladder, but we are using the concept of using steps to increase your position. One of the best things about ladders is how simple they are, according to Chad. He says they are made up of two straight members that are connected by a cross member. The beauty of this design is that any culture that needed to get something done could replicate the ladder, regardless of where they were in terms of technology. In the book, he discusses how similar-looking ladders are found in very different cultures that were separated by oceans. This design was pretty much the perfect solution to a universal problem. Chad also thinks that ladders are great because they combine utility and imagination. They enable people to get to places they couldn't otherwise reach. We use them to fix roofs, cut tree branches, and wash windows. But we also use them as inspiration for art, religion, and games. We imagine ourselves ascending them to reach heaven or climbing them to achieve success. But ladders have also been misused and have a dark past. For example, they were used as instruments of torture during the Spanish Inquisition. The infamous Salem witch trials also saw the use of ladders. During those trials, suspects were forced to climb a ladder while people threw water on them. The person was unable to walk on the ladder due to being wet. They were accused of being a witch. In Nazi Germany, victims would be forced to climb a ladder before execution to make them feel humiliated and afraid. Also, ladders were a common tool used in public executions by hanging. Many countries used to use the gallows to execute prisoners, which were essentially just two pieces of wood connected by a rope and a pulley system. Victims would be hanged on the gallows for stealing, killing, or in some cases, just speaking against the ruler. While all of these examples are extremely sad and disturbing, it is important to remember that ladders themselves are not bad. They are just tools. How we use them is up to us. And I think that is a message that Chad agrees with. He said, ladders aren't evil, but people can be. So let's shift gears a bit and explore the evolution of ladders throughout history. Now, ladders have been around for thousands of years. According to Chad, archaeologists have found evidence of primitive ladders going back to prehistoric times. Cave paintings in Spain depict hunters using makeshift ladders to climb trees. However, the earliest evidence of a true ladder comes from ancient Egypt, in tombs from around 2686 to 2181 BC. There are pictures of workers climbing ladders to build the pyramids. Back then, workers used wooden ladders to haul stone blocks and other building materials. These weren't your typical ladders, though. They were thicker than modern ones, around 20 inches wide. The Egyptians also developed a type of ladder called a gantry ladder. These ladders had a base and were set up at an angle against a wall. This made it easier to reach higher places without having to lean on an angled ladder. The Egyptians were not the only ancient civilization to use ladders. In Mesopotamia, clay tablets tell us about shepherds using ladders to tend to their animals. During the Middle Ages, castles and cathedrals reached new heights, and so did the need for better ladders. Back then, skilled craftsmen would make ladders out of tough wood like oak or ash. They made sure the sides were extra thick and strong. But when it came to putting the ladder sections together, they used a technique called scarf joints. These were super secure and lasted a long time. Later, the Industrial Revolution brought about major changes in how ladders were made. Factories started making them out of iron and eventually aluminum. The metal ones were not only stronger and safer, but also lighter than the heavy wooden ladders. Today, we have all sorts of ladders, from the classic extension ladder to those cool ones that fold up small to fit in your car. But no matter what type of ladder you use, remember to climb smart. Always check it carefully to make sure it's safe. Do one go too high if it's wobbly, and do one move around on it unless it's steady. And now, let's talk about some interesting ladder facts. Ever wondered what the longest ladder in the world can reach? Well, the record holder belongs to a fire truck ladder made by the German company Majoris. This massive ladder is over 135 feet tall and is kept at a fire station in Germany. It's used to rescue people from burning buildings up to 10 stories high. Now, some people are terrified of ladders. A fear of ladders is called clamocophobia. And although we don't know exactly how common it is, it can be serious for some folks. If you have this fear, you may feel dizzy or shaky just by looking at a ladder. And of course, ladders aren't just useful for humans. In Japan, they are part of a fun festival called Hashigo Nori. During this event, firefighters show off their skills by balancing on top of bamboo ladders. They twist and turn, jump, and spin. It's like a kind of gymnastics routine, but with ladders. In conclusion, ladders are more than just simple structures. They have been with us since the dawn of civilization and are deeply rooted in our culture, history, and even fears. As we continue to innovate and create new technologies, ladders will continue to evolve with us, helping us reach new heights both literally and figuratively. Now, I want to hear from you. Why are ladders important to you? Have you ever had a scary experience on a ladder? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. I always read the comments and love hearing your thoughts. Plus, you might see your comment in a future episode. If you liked this episode, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. I've been your host, Your Name. Until next time, keep exploring the world with fresh eyes. See you soon. Bye.